Good afternoon and welcome to another episode of the Drive Marketing. This afternoon, Corey and I have the pleasure to sit and visit with the guys at the American Maine-Anjou Association. Blake Nelson, Executive Vice President of the association. Blake, welcome.
Good to be here.
Thank you. And Josh Cribbs. Josh is the Director of Commercial Development and Promotion for the American Maine-Anjou Association. Josh, good to have you.
Hey, thank you guys for having us. We appreciate it.
Absolutely. And we're here to discuss the 2020-2022 version of the Bright Lights sale that is a big part of the American Maine-Anjou Association, not only for the association and what it means to the association, but what it means to those breeders. Blake, give us just a little bit of insight on the Bright Lights.
Well, Brett, like you were saying, and I mean, you guys know as well, this is really the premier event for a lot of our breeders to highlight some of the best bulls they produced through the years. And we have a great set of females this year, but we have a lot of smaller breeders, and this gives them a chance to bring what they produce to town. And you would not know that some of their herds are limited in numbers by the quality they bring us every year. And we'll talk about it in just a second, but some really impactful animals have come through the Bright Lights, and I think it's been going on for over a decade now, and really been the premier spot to come and find particularly Maine bulls, but also some great females have sold through the years as well.
Yeah, I think I would tend to agree with what you said there, and it does seem like this sale at times is an extremely high quality platform for some guys that maybe do not have a production sale, but they do have some elite cattle, and they can combine them with some guys that maybe do have production sales and whatever else. But I can tell you, this isn't a sale that's built upon little breeders. This thing is built upon the backbone of the main breed itself in terms of big breeders, smaller breeders. But what we have is a lot of quality breeders. And as you can tell by what we just flashed up on the screen here, the impact the Bright Light sale has had in the herd book itself in terms of high quality AI sires that have impacted the breed in terms of registrations and breed growth. Corey, this is a who's who list of AI sires.
Yeah, it's a Maine-Anjou version of Mount Rushmore is what it is. When you talk about Ali and you talk about Epic and then Epic sire Garth and you throw Maywee All, I mean, in terms of number of units semen sold right now, I mean, he's a hot deal on the planet Earth. Memphis Mafia, some of the highest priced semen in the country. Gronk, one of the most sought after sires in today's industry. If you want a hot Maine bull, this is where you find them.
Oh, no doubt. Look across the bottom of that thing. You know, some of those things. Maywee All. I mean, that's a bull that probably will carry as many registrations in the coming year due to his calving ease and high quality nature and the amount of guys that are using that bull. And you flip over to the other side and you see Making Time. That's a bull that, as of recent at Griswold's sale, we're starting to. Absolutely. The bred heifers are that way. The open heifers are that way. And a bull that sold right here about 3 years ago through the Bright Light sale. And Blake and Josh, what is it about this sale that these breeders get behind the sale and they want to put that kind of bull in the sale?
Well, I guess what I would say to kind of echo what you guys were talking about relative to the Mount Rushmore deal, I think it's probably more so than just one bull, or talking about specific bulls. It's probably the generational interval of those bulls mated within each other from a female standpoint. Daughters out of those bulls from like Ali and Open Bar being mated back to bulls like Maywee All, Mafia, and some of those. And so maybe just the lasting impact of those generations that have kind of stacked pedigrees within the main breed. I think Corey probably said something too that's really important that I think is interesting. Seems like every year we get a bull that comes through the Bright Light sale that is a commanding bull in terms of semen sales. and not necessarily in terms of total volume, but also in terms of just value that those bulls bring in terms of semen sales, which is pretty unique.
And a bull I don't see on there is the past show bull of the year last year, the Bull Fame sire.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at it, you want to show them, you want to sell semen out of them. If you want a quality Maine bull, they're in this sale in numbers.
Yeah, absolutely. And Blake, in your position as a leader, the executive VP of the association, it's got to be a really fresh feeling for you each year as this catalog starts to come together, knowing that your breeders want and they desire to put quality animals in there that's going to help push the herd book forward.
Yeah. Well, I get excited every year when we start, those entries start rolling in for this, Brad. And for you guys that may not know, this isn't a select group of Maine breeders. It's any Maine breeder that wants to nominate a bull or a female. They have this opportunity. So it's an open door. And I get excited looking at those entries, just maybe seeing some of those fresh genetics, some new sires that we haven't seen offspring out of that much, or maybe even a total outcross, just seeing what's going to roll in. Because, even before the pictures, they're going to be good-looking animals. Right. But knowing what's in that pedigree and what really, to me, just revs up that value, it gets me excited. And then when the pictures start rolling in, you're like, holy cow, this is going to be fun. And then we just anticipate that much more to seeing them live once we'll get together there in Oklahoma City.
Right. And for years, this sale was held at the National Western. And each year, I think it's a note that people didn't maybe realize. The Maine-Anjou Bright Light sale for years and years, and I think it's probably that way in Oklahoma City, it is the largest sale in terms of numbers. It is the largest sale by any breed in terms of bull sales as well.
Yeah, we would have at least twice as many animals we'll sell as the largest breed sale. The Angus might have bumped up just a notch since they came to Oklahoma City, but prior to that, I know we had almost twice as many as anybody there. And still, our averages are right there in the money with anybody else.
Yep, absolutely. Absolutely. You bet. No, and I just think, as we get in here and eventually we're going to get into these cattle, something that you guys have done in the past 8 or 10 years is not only is it a bull sale, but it's a female sale as well. And I think this year you guys loaded the front end of this thing with the elite.
Yeah, I think I would say, Brett, and echo what Blake was talking about. I think the sale, our breeders as a whole, look at the sale in a type of reverence relative to you. If you're going to come, you bring quality and you bring the absolute best, or you just don't bring them. And I think that speaks volumes for how our breeders respect what the Bright Light sale actually stands for and what it means relative to our breed. It really, for me, coming in and just being for the association for the last 4 or 5 years now, I would say it really pumps me up relative to starting the next year and kind of being able to see what's out there that we're going to get just a breeding to in the next couple months, because everybody starts calling in March wanting to know what was in there. And I think the females echo that quality too, because you're able to say, well, these specific bulls kind of generate this type of female. So you kind of get that splash of it in the front end.
You bet. We're going to jump in here, guys. Talk about this lot one female, one that's had a storied show career this year. Wins the junior show there in Kansas City. Data Bank daughter, sold by the Yoakum family there in Tulsa, Oklahoma.
You bet. And I would tell you, I'm going to kind of pair these up in the beginning here, because the Yoakum family have brought us a tremendous pair of bred heifers. You look at the one on the screen, that's our lot one. They're both daughters of Data Bank, both go back to I-80 on the bottom side, so similarly bred. But that lot one, she has a proven track record and kind of been a unique heifer, not only just from a show standpoint, but to see her visually. I mean, this one is long as a well rope and maybe has a shot more frame to her. And I think one that could be a tremendous donor cow when you think about bulls you could throw at her. she's bred up to daddy's money, sex female semen. So to me, that's an added value that could have a calf that hits the ground. But she was the champion there, the American Royal. Prior to that, at Tulsa State Fair, which is one of our larger State Fair main shows, she had a great day there. And then looking at this lot 2 that they brought us, they didn't show this one as much, but that one probably is a little stouter version. So even though they are almost 3/4 sibs, this one offers a little more power to her, a little more bone and density. You would see in this one, they bred her to follow me. She's safe and calf there. So, that calf would have a potential to be a Maine Angus. But I think this is going to be an awesome way to start off with these 2 females. If someone's looking for a real donor cow, this is where you get going.
Hey, and that lot
Absolutely.
2, she sells heavy bred to follow me. She's gonna calve there in early February.
You bet. Yep.
Josh, and then we transition right here to lots 3 and lots 5, both from True Line Mains in Richardson, Missouri, daughters of depth charge.
Yep. So True Line there is a program that's been around for generations relative to Everett Fortner and his family and Everett, longtime performance-driven breeder. Both these heifers kind of resemble the pieces and parts of power and muscle shape that Everett tries to kind of breed to. I saw these heifers just a couple weeks ago, and both of them follow his program in terms of wean and weight percentage relative to his calf crop and where they rank in terms of muscle. And he's brought a nice pair of open heifers there that are going to bring some added performance when you use them down the line.
Hey, this next 2 lots here, 4 and 9, Blake, come to us from Willow Springs. Eric Walker and his crew there in Arkansas. Gronk daughters.
Yeah, that's just it, Corey. They brought us a pair of heifers. Lot 4 is a purebred. Lot 9 is a half-blood, both sired by Gronk. And for those of you that may not know, that semen's not on the market. It's usually just a special lot added here and there, so there's not that many of these running around. But he is definitely going to leave his impact on the maternal side in this breed, and I think these 2 are a great representation of what he can do. That lot 4, too, that purebred on the bottom side of her pedigree, I mean, she goes back to me, to the great cows in the breed, the old Panel Miss 4072 that, Gerald pretty much has built this program on. And then Roxbury on that top side is no stranger to producing great ones as well. So this is another one. She's one you could take and show, but, man, you're going to have a tremendous donor prospect when you're done with her. That lot 9, a little different twist, the half-blood. She goes back to a broker cross cow there on the bottom side, so a shot of semi in her. So, again, you ought to have the ability to generate something out of those 2 cattle. And I think that's cool with this set of heifers. They might show, but they're going to make really nice cows when you slide the halter off.
Yeah, Josh, here we go with this lot 6. We kind of get a chance to talk about a Gronk daughter ourselves, coming from Kendall Bremer, out of the K&A Daiquiri donor, the great open bar female there at Kendall's.
Yeah, and I think this particular heifer was what I was talking about at the start of the sale. This heifer comes from generations of stacked Bright Lights bulls on both sides. And so it's just kind of a pays homage to the quality of the sale and what's come through the sale. And then obviously Kendall and his program, he's done an excellent job putting the right kind of female look in cattle. He likes them sleek and correct in their build. And this heifer obviously brings those pieces to the table. And then out of that Daiquiri cow that had a storied show career and obviously has done great things in terms of being a big time donor.
That's right.
Hey, this lot 7, Blake, comes to us from T-Bone there, Tyler Loudon in Creston, Iowa. Follow me, daughter of the Garth cow.
You bet. I mean, Tyler there, Tim and Karen have done a great job, bringing him along as a herdsman, and Tyler does a lot of the mating and the work with these cattle, and really nice female. I mean, she is a quarter blood Maine, but one that can show and is certainly fits in our maintainer division wherever you want to take her. But looking at this one, pedigree-wise, another one, I mean, the follow me, like you said, Corey, on the bottom side, you got Garth, and then out of a Grumman-bred Angus cow, she's a quarter blood. Man, you could make her a lot of different ways, potentially make a Maine Angus with this one. Just to me, this one just reeks of maternal capability and ought to be a great investment for somebody.
Absolutely. And this lot 8 female coming from the Muir family in Ohio. And I tell you, those of you that don't know Terry Muir, He can flat cook chicken wings like nobody's business. But I tell you what those kids can do. They can cook up a dadgum good show heifer, and that's what we got right here at this data bank.
Yeah, I think this heifer in particular is an excellent representation of the data bank and what he can do. Very sleek in her silhouette, very correct in the way her build is put together. And like you said, I would agree, mirrors are synonymous with bringing quality, and this heifer does that for sure.
Blake, we're going to talk about a trio here in 10, 11, 12, three-quarter sisters brought to us from Bo Ebersol cattle there in Kellerton, Iowa.
Well, the Ebersols, again, a family that's been the main breed for a long time. This is multi-generational here with Bo's father, Bo himself, and then his daughters. And, they don't bring cattle out unless they think they got something that can help out somebody and definitely have some value to it. And these three heifer calves, and he told me just a day before yesterday he might have a substitute here, but it would be one still be bred the same way. They're out of a bull they raised that they think an awful lot of. He's a hard whiskey son. And then out of some Insight females there on the bottom side. So these are 3/8 mains, so they would show maintainers. But again, it don't take long. You take and breed them up if you want to build something. His cattle are definitely cattle that have that quality to go and show. But if you've ever been to Bo's place or know his cattle, those cattle got to go work for a living too and have function and production bred into them. So probably a great place to start if you're wanting to build a little herd here. These would be some to look at.
Absolutely. And, this is just a heck of a good set of females to start the bright lights. And I think they're from every end of the spectrum. I think there's cattle here that are good using cattle. I think there's cattle here that are donor type cattle. Just a heck of a good set, Blake.
Yeah, I think it's the best set of females collectively since Josh and I have been working with the sale. Because like you said, it doesn't really matter what facet you want to focus on. These girls can go do it. And if you want the multifaceted, a lot of them fit that too. So pretty neat set to bring to town.
Right. Josh, we get the pleasure right here to talk about a set of embryos that will sell at the Bright Lights, be the lot 13 and the lot 14 embryos, both sired by Gronk.
Yep. Frank and Matt, they bring sets of embryos every year to Bright Lights. It's kind of their traditional thing that they do, and then come to the sale and look at those cattle. And that first set, 13, is out of a cow that kind of goes back to the heart of what Dennis Garwood's program was about. And that's a cow that Frank and Matt acquired in that dispersal deal. And they've got some foundation females built around that particular cow. And so they've got her mated up right, I think, to Gronk, kind of blending what Dennis had done with some new age kind of power and putting that together. And then that second set, Maine Angus Bill, kind of an interesting breeding. That cow in particular is a little more numbers gear generated Angus cow. And so there could be something come out of those embryos that obviously have quite a bit of quality, just because you're balancing some real look and power with some numbers behind there too. So nice sets of embryos that they're offering.
Blake, we're going to break into these high percentage Maine bulls, and we're going to start off with a big, heavy, stout bull in this lot 15, Garth's son, offered by Trey Simmons.
You bet. Trey's got you a bull here, and Josh mentioned this earlier, and I think he's right. We'll see this. You see Garth on the top side going back to Ollie on the bottom side, another Bright Lights, two Bright Lights bulls that have been through the ring before. And to me, this is what it's all about. I mean, stacking those pedigrees. This dude is a truck. I know Trey's pretty fired up about him because he thinks he's sure a hoss. He's a February purebred polled Maine bull. So that's one you could take and treat, breed him a lot of different ways. If you want to make highs, you want to make percentage cattle. He's one, when you look at Maine bulls, you ought to think about. I mean, you want power, he's got it.
Absolutely. And then when we get to transition to another purebred bull coming from longtime breeder, Everett Fortner with Treeline Mains, a depth charge son.
Yep. And I think, we talked about those heifers that he's offering. This bull kind of echoes those same things. The fundamentals that Everett's built around his program in terms of just sheer power, performance. This bull, I got the chance to see him, plenty stout, plenty rugged in his build, a really nice power performance bull that he's going to bring there to the Bright Lights deal.
Happy about that.
Blake, the 17 and the 20 lot come from James Farm. It's in Paris, Missouri. We got a Zyke son, a maternal maid son, both backed by breed legends raised by the Green Valley program there in Nebraska.
You bet. If any of you know or been around the Maine business, you would know Larry James. That's the name. He's in our Hall of Fame. Tremendous breeder for many, many years. And Larry's cattle, to me, are always cattle that can go out and fit a lot of facets. They have some real production and growth bred into them, some power. You can see that in these two bulls. And you've got some intriguing pedigrees. That lot 17, the purebred bull, another one that's polled, and he's got kind of some outcross pedigree with X59 on the top side and just looking at his bottom side compared to at least some of these newer sires here. You could certainly mate him up if you're looking for some genetics with a little different twist and see what he could deliver. Then we look at that lot 20, that 3/4 blood bull, maternal maid. Again, I think he speaks for himself. That bull is doing a great job delivering some really intriguing pieces in the breed, and this son looks like he'll do that too. And like you said, going back to the good Green Valley cow. But Larry James, them good folks, they'll stand behind their cattle and definitely make your way around and visit with them.
You bet. Here we go. 18 and 19 coming from longtime breeder Jim Opperman. I mean, he's been around since the Pokey Feeder days, and I can tell you right now, guys, he's brought you something out of Simplify, the Cavanese sire, as well as the new Bo Done Deal, the Garth son, and two really nice bulls, Josh.
Yeah, I think, talk about him just real quickly. 18, you said Cavanese. He kind of double stacked calves in there, Simplify back on an I-80 daughter. So there's true some value there from a heifer deal if you're looking for a bull to kind of make that deal. And then he kind of balanced Cavanese with power in lot 19, and I think that bull represents kind of the rugged power that we've kind of come to think of from Beaupre stuff in terms of just its mass and power and muscle shape. So I think a nice pair of bulls that Jim's there are going to bring.
Right, absolutely. And we go right to the lot 21, a bull from City View Farms, the Talak family there in Iowa, a Gronk son out of a style daughter.
Yep, I got to see this set a couple weeks back, and Barry and his family there, his daughters have had numerous females that have had awesome show careers. This heifer, this bull is no different. Out of a Maine-Anjou cow that has had tremendous value for them. This bull calf, very good in terms of his build, very correct in his look, very big in terms of his body shape and the way he's put together. Just a really nice addition that they're going to bring there in lot 21.
Well, Blake, we bring this lot 22 next, and I have actually seen this bull with my own eyeballs. Fame's son goes back to a settler wide track cow. This comes to us from DJ Folkers there in Minnesota, Eastview Maines, and he's one of the better bulls DJ's ever brought to the sale, and he's had some good ones.
Yeah, that's for sure. If you don't know much about DJ, he's a great breeder, current president of our board, and one that's committed to the Maine breed. And you can see it not only in how he walks the walk and visiting with him, but looking at his cattle here. Like you said, and one of those fresh sires, again, going back to some great lineage on the bottom side. I know he is fired up about this bull because he can deliver performance too. If you're wanting to find one that can generate some pounds, this bull had an over 715-pound adjusted weaning weight. I believe he's in the top 10% of the breed for growth genetics. So one that can deliver look, power, and pounds coming from another really good program.
Yeah, absolutely. And Josh, we go right here to the lot 23 bull, a Gronk son coming from Willow Springs Cattle Company.
Yeah, I think, when Eric decided that Gronk was a bull that he wanted to kind of latch onto and use, I think these are the kind of cattle he was hoping and thinking that bull would generate. Big structured, flexible in their build, plenty big enough in terms of his mature frame and his look that way. Just a really nice bull that's also, kind of pays homage like we were talking about earlier, stacking with Ali in there for some Cavanese to go along with that power too.
Lot 24, Blake, these data bank cattle are hot. Here's one backed by an Irish whiskey, Dixie Erica Griswold bred cow on the bottom side from Mosselman Farms, Kansas.
Yep. Justin Mossman there from down at Newton, Kansas, one of our younger breeders, but doing a good job. And he's definitely produced some nice cattle here in the last couple of years and working at it. And this bull, to me, he has just one that can go out and make some daughters just written all over him. You think about his sire, and then back to Whiskey Angus there, Griswold bred deal. We know what those things have done in the industry, even outside of a breed. And then looking at his body type, this one is, if you're thinking about building some daughters and looking for a bull that's versatile, because he has some pretty good growth numbers as well. Another one that had a adjusted weaning weight over 700 pounds. Sure ought to be one you ought to take a look at. 3/4 blood Maine bull.
Yeah, here we go, this lot 25. And I got to tell you guys, it's funny. We're at lot 25, 25 minutes into this thing. And I can tell you, you look at this one's pedigree right here, it opens up some fresh genetic that's kind of old school, going back to contender on the top side.
Yeah, what's interesting about that, you and I had the same thought. I probably had a conversation with Corey a few weeks ago about that bull Hartman's contender and what that bull kind of brought to the table back then. And then here we go with a kind of a grandson that puts onset on the cow pedigree side and blends kind of new age with old school. And I think we can tell there's a certain amount of quality that comes with it. Rick does a nice job. Him and Rachel do a nice job bringing cattle. That he tries to stay focused on production traits, and this bull's no different. And then he's kind of got a balanced pedigree there too that's unique as well.
Right.
Let's go from old school to new school. Lot 26 out of the new hot sire, Luke Doris raised and Wade Rogers owns, Unleashed, back out of an I-80 cow, consigned here by Amanda Liffington.
Yeah, when I was out in Ohio at sales earlier in the fall, I got to swing by Amanda's and look at her calves and saw this bull, and I was definitely trying to get her to bring him to Oklahoma City. I think this one has a lot of breeding value, and that's a nice picture, but really he's even better if you see him in person. Like you said, Corey, kind of some fresh genetics there and a stout, powerful package. This is one I think could go out and do a lot of good. Another 3/4 blood polled Maine bull there that could work on a lot of different kind of cattle.
Yeah, transition of this lot 27 out of the new All Me, coming from what I believe is the oldest living past Maine-Anjou herdsman of the year, the Dorsey family from Colorado.
Yep, and you made the statement new. All Me, I think, is a bull we're going to hear a lot of here in the next few years. A Cavanese-based bull that Willie Weiss there in Iowa raised that is really unique in terms of his build, and I think this bull kind of brings what that sire his has to offer in terms of just the angles of his skeleton and the look from the side. And then he's got him balanced with a nice Daddy's Money cow on the side. They always bring quality, and I think this bull certainly upholds that.
Lot 28, Blake, comes to us from Wayne and Barb Ulrich there in Norfolk, Nebraska. Wayne and Barb always bring the goods to this sale every year. This year they brought they had two of the high sellers last year. In last year's sale, they were Gar's sons. This year they bring another Gar's son back by an Irish whiskey cow.
Yeah. And Corey, this is actually a full sib to one of those high sellers last year, the one they're bringing. So, there's quality there. And Wayne and Barb, that program speaks for itself. Just do a tremendous job. And they work with a few different breeds, but always when they bring a Maine to town, it's going to darn sure be a nice one. And like I said, this pedigree, you can see it there on the paper. That full brother to him has been exhibited and been out. And, I mean, that's one that's held together and really powerful. And I think this bull will be the same way. Whoever takes him home is going to be awful proud of him.
There you go. Here we are matching up again, 29 minutes in, and the 29th bull in the sale, a Databank son from Larson Show Cattle.
Yeah, a big rugged bull that's really good in terms of his build, a Databank based kind of bull that goes back to maternal made. And I think anybody that's kind of followed Maine-Anjou genetics in the past few years knows the impact maternal made had and will continue to have. And here's a nice balance of two pedigrees that have obviously generated quality. So really nice bull here to bring.
Lot 30 coming next, a sire out of Kendall Brimmer's Simplify bull.
You bet. The Carlson family's bringing this one, and Josh had talked about one of their bulls earlier. Rick and Rachel and Rosemary do a great job. Cool thing about this bull, you look back at his pedigree, going back to the Countess cow there on the bottom side sooner. You see some older genetics there, and then a little twist onset. So a kind of a key main cross type bull there. On the top side goes back to a Rockin' Ace cow. So he's bred another one that goes back to tremendous cow families. And this one is smooth made and sound. He's one that ought to be really, really flashy. I'm kind of anxious to see what he looks like there. You can see videos of their bulls there at Carlson Maine-Anjou. So if you're looking again for a little different pedigree, this is one you ought to check out.
Yeah, here we go. 31, an unleashed. It goes back to the WSCC Winnie daughter. It's there at Stet Cattle.
Yeah, Craig had sent me this picture just a couple weeks ago, and we were trying to kind of hook up, and we see this bull right there before Christmas. But holidays wise, it was just hard with everybody's families and whatnot. But man, I've never known Craig not to show a good one and not to bring one that is just high quality. And this bull to me is even more intriguing. You said Winnie, but I always like to follow that 43W cow. That's a cow Corey would know quite a bit about and have some history with. And man, that cow's just so good in terms of what she's done. And this bull would be another generation that he's got here that he's going to bring to that sale. So a really nice addition of a 3/4 bull.
Blake, lot 32 consigned another one by Taylor Dorsey out of Driving 80, a bull that's kind of seeing a resurgence here recently.
Yeah, absolutely. That bull, I think we are going to see more Driving 80 pop up here and there. You see some of those daughters in production, and those cattle are darn sure good. I mean, to me, they have the style of the I-80 side with maybe just a little more production to them and mass, and it's definitely coming through in these offspring. The Dorsey family do a great job, and this bull, again, they're bringing to town a little different twist on pedigree for maybe some of the Garce and those bloodlines. That would complement that. But I think this bull that they got, 3/4 blood Maine bull, again, he's one that sure packs some power.
Yeah, Josh, we get to talk about the very first set of bulls here that's going to be part of our pen show, per se, the lot 33, 34, and 35 from Par 5 Cattle, the Ring Cobb family in South Dakota.
Yep, and I think a really nice addition. Chuck and his family a few years ago decided to kind of bring them bulls as age bulls. And man, I think it's really paid dividends for him and his program and being able to get them bulls in some different hands. If you're looking for an age bull and you're looking for a bull that can go out and work right away, even maybe breeding some late falls into the winter kind of calving, this is the first of 3 bulls that he's going to bring, and actually 34 and 35 go with them. That big performance, rugged kind of bulls that are ready to work, that'll come tested and ready to roll. And Chuck stands behind his program. He's got an awesome cow herd up there that's geared around maternal genetics, and so a nice group of pin bulls that he's going to bring.
And then we're going to break into this set of high Maine bulls from Blind Badger. Blake, I've talked to Brian several times about this set, and Brian usually this time of year doesn't. I've just never heard him as high on a set as he is these 3 right here.
You're right. He's usually pretty modest about it, isn't he, guys? I mean, he'll say, "Oh, they're okay," but I know he's excited. And man, looking at these pictures, you can understand why. That 36 and 38 going back to that Morgan cow there. One's a 3/4 blood bull, the 36 out of All Me, 38's a data bank out of that same cow. So again, some pretty neat genetics. And then even the end game there in the middle, end game semen's kind of hard to come by since that sire is passed. And he's another one that's going to leave his mark. Those cattle highlighted the Jones sale back in the fall. So we know those genetics are going to be hot, but I'm anxious to see these bulls in person because these pictures will knock your eyes out.
Yeah, here we go to the lots 39 through 43, and I just happen to know a few things about these bulls being part of the Buck and Morton deal, Josh.
Yeah, I will. I guess I'll start the first year that I worked for the association. Gerald and you guys were down there in the pins and looking around, and that's the year Gerald bought Epic. And then that next round was when y'all started bringing some bulls that, man, they just pack punch, and every year it seems like they get better and better and more focused. And I think probably these bulls in particular, looking at the pictures, just speak volumes for what y'all are trying to achieve and been achieving down there in that area of southern Oklahoma. And so nice bulls, and obviously you could probably speak volumes to what they look like in person. I haven't been a chance to get through them, but man, they look good relative to the pictures.
Yeah.
Right. And, you know, for you know, I don't want to spend a lot of time talking about them. I would like, you know, we're going to get to see them here in another week. But I think the bulls for us, they follow suit to what we try to do at our own program here. And that's just try to be maternal oriented with the cattle. We want them to be efficient. We want them to be soft, and we want them to be flexible. And, you know, these bulls here obviously mates to females that we've sold as well. So,
I got
anyway,
one more thing too on this, Brett. Just looking, I mean, these are all 3/4 blood bulls, and if you look, you can see some here that are maternal siblings. There, I think a pair of out of that Dream Machine cow, and then a couple of them out of one of my favorite cows of you guys, Old Belly Dancer, because I don't know for sure if it's the name or who named her. I don't know who came up with that one, but man, that cow has produced.
hey, if you know any of us guys down here in southern Oklahoma, there ain't a single one of us that's a belly dancer.
I darn sure don't want to think about you, Belly Dancer.
Yeah, it's like
so
it's
we'll
the
go
comments that can come from that is a little rough.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all right. That's good. That's why we got Matt.
Hey, this next section that's coming, guys, is based on a platform that kind of came into light shortly after Blake took his throne there at the Maine Association, the Maine-Anjou division. And just Blake, tell us just a little bit about that program and what it's done for the breed a little bit.
Well, I think it's been a great opportunity, and you guys as breeders were doing this for years, as far as putting good Maine genetics and crossing them with Angus cattle and knowing how well that complements each other. We really just put maybe a little bit of put a name to it, and just a few guidelines to keep product a little more uniform. And man, this thing just keeps getting better and better. It's increased ever since the inception. Every year it increases. The registry of the Maine Angus cattle increased about 15%. And excited about these cattle, not only what they look like visually, we all know how good they are, but you're seeing a lot of these commercial guys starting to see what these cattle can do. When you throw these Maine Angus type bulls back on a set of black cows or red cows or English-based cows, and just that added punch with still keeping plenty of maternal in them. So it's one of those things that's growing, and excited to see where it goes. And this set of bulls, I think, is as good a Maine Angus set as we've had here since we've had that program.
Yep. Hey, and we're going to kick it off right here with lot 44, class on class.
Yeah, this bull that Andy's bringing is a big, stout, rugged, ready to go bull. I saw these cattle right there after Louisville. Andy was still there at North American, but when I left, I drove that direction and went through and kind of looked at his bulls. And man, I thought this bull was going to be a really nice addition to the Bright Light cell. A big bull, yearling, or an aged bull that comes to us ready to roll, and he's really good built. He blends some class on class that there Jason Minnert's been promoting, and obviously a bull that comes with a lot of quality that Andy's going to bring here, and kind of a first-year consigner, if I'm saying that correctly, Blake. Andy bringing, kind of goes back when our breeders know they got quality. That's when they want to come to the Bright Lights deal. And this kind of sticks with that.
Hey, lot 45, Blake, another one of these driving 80s from the prestigious Weingartner show cattle.
You bet. Brad and Tyler and Curtis, again, when they bring something to town, it's pretty nice. And this dude is intriguing and thinking about not only the driving 80 side, like you said, Corey, that's getting hot again, but the maternal side. That 4-Arab lady cow that he goes back to, I know she's produced some daughters. It's done awfully well. I think Sarah Sullivan would have showed one very successfully last summer, getting a piece of junior nationals there. So, again, some hot Angus genetics here with one of those Maine bulls that we know can go out and work. And to me, this is what the program's about.
Yeah, there we go. 46 and 48 coming from the Jones Cattle Company in Illinois.
Yeah, I'll talk them kind of separately. 46, in particular is out of a TC Freedom cow that Andy and Darcy speak very highly of in their program, a cow they've used as a donor for a lot of different ways. And this kind of is an interesting pedigree to me. Unleashed, we talk about Unleashed and how good he is, and he goes back to a bull that unlimited power, and so you're taking a power bull and putting it into an Angus pedigree that's built for look and elegance, and man, that bull just really kind of blends those two things together if you take a look at that picture. And then that bull, the other bull 48 that he's coming with, a blacklist, kind of on the rumor mill cow, kind of going the other direction. We talk about the Maine Angus program so much, but you can go from both ways. High Maine cows with Angus bulls on top, and you kind of get a little different look and a little different speed, and then purebred Angus cows with high Maine bulls on top, and you get a little different look. And so this one's a blacklist, that lot 48 is obviously good in his look and build, and a nice pair of Maine Angus bulls that they're going to bring.
Blake, this lot 47 from the Hunker family in Ohio, them Hunkers are kind of sitting in the saddle here and raising some top mains. Here's one out of Follow Me and out of kind of an old school bred cow on the bottom side.
Yeah, that was pretty cool, and I know you guys will appreciate going back to some of that hall breeding there that came down, and Barry, that program was quite a deal when it was hot and heavy, and seeing it come through in some of these bulls today is pretty neat to see those genetics still around. And like you said, the Hunkers, they've shown some awfully good cattle and invested in some great females, and now we're starting to see some of these animals generate and what they're bringing to town. The cool thing about Follow Me, too, is that bull is one whenever Kevin Benish brought him to town. I remember seeing him in the pens. He had a Maine bull that year as well, and a maintainer. I went in the pens and looked, and I thought Follow Me was the maintainer. And you guys, if you saw him in person, I mean, he genuinely had some power. He had good hair and stout. So I think this one is one that's going to be pretty intriguing, what he can do on a variety of different types of cows.
Absolutely, Josh. Lot 49, another high-quality Gronk coming from Walker's.
Yeah, and this Gronk that Eric and Cody and them have is one that's out of a Wallace-based cow that they've got there that certainly, I'm sure, speaks volumes for his mother in terms of their maternal traits and what she offered in that pedigree. And so just a really nice blend of Maine Angus genetics. This bull is an added bonus. Actual birth weight is 64 pounds, so a real Cavanese bull in terms of his actual birth weight as well, and a nice way to kind of finish this group of Maine Angus bulls or whatnot.
Hey, we're going to bust in here to these maintainers, and we're going to start off with a bang right here. They're selling Buyer's Choice of 50 and 51, and I saw that Baldy bull there, lot 51 at Junior Nationals. These are icons, maternal made cow donor. Goes back to the Riverstone Charms, Supreme Champion from Louisville, offered by Three Fires there in Kansas.
You bet. The Schwartz family, Corey, like you said, they are another group that, to me, are putting together a great set of cattle and genetics. And this is really the first pair of icons I think we've had in the sale, or maybe some of the icon sons. And the one they're bringing here, both of them, to me, are awfully, awfully good. If you remember that bull, whenever Duello had him on display in Denver, he was pretty intriguing. And then those sons and some full sibs are highlights to Dave's sale this time. And here you're getting to tap into icon genetics and being backed with a really good cow family too. So again, go back with some power on these bulls. And it's going to be interesting to see which one people like the best, because they're both awfully good in different ways.
Lot 52 is the Jade McPeak family there from in Oklahoma with a Mercedes-Benz.
Yeah, this bull, I was looking at the pedigree earlier, and Oklahoma Storm on the bottom side, Blake and I would know that pretty well. It brings back memories. I think I drank a lot of water as a judging team kid that had Oklahoma Storm printed on the side of it from Jerry, because he was promoting that bull, so I was thinking much in that time frame. But that there's quite a bit of quality there in Oklahoma Storm and what he did from a maternal perspective. So a nice balance of having genetics and maternal capability and a whiskey son there out of Oklahoma Storm. And so a really nice way there, a nice bull for them to bring kind of as one of their first year consigners too.
Yep.
Blake, the Muir family from Ohio, brings us another. We've had a few of these unleashed, so we got another unleashed. Sure looks like a big stout rascal.
Again, that crew does a great job, and Candace is on the road to recovery, and I know she wanted to take care of business and get these cattle in the sale. But again, if they're going to bring something to town, it's going to be pretty nice. And this one, for being an unleashed and having that unlimited power on the top side there, a couple of shots of whiskey in him, so maybe a little more power than you might expect sometimes when you think about this pedigree, as far as just seeing what he can bring to the table. But again, there's no doubt in my mind this is a nice one. I'm anxious to see him live because he looks like a powerful cat.
Yeah, 54 is coming from Kendall Bremer Cattle Company in Iowa, a primetime son.
Yeah, and this bull, he's got some added value. Kendall, I think, lost prime time in terms of from the standpoint of not having him around anymore. And so from that perspective, there's a limited supply of semen on that bull, I think, and Kendall's pretty tight with it. And so here's a chance to get a son that I think exemplifies the same kind of quality, and then kind of goes back to a simplified base cow that should breed in terms of just look and maternal perspective. So a really nice bull here that Kendall's bringing in lot 54.
This lot 55 bull that comes next out of the old Mercedes-Benz sire. Got a soft spot in my heart for that bull. Cavanagh sire for the main breed for sure.
Yeah. Corey, you were talking about that, and Jim Offerman was said earlier, one of those breeders that's been around since pokey feeders back in the day, and has just one that stays on track, breeding cattle with performance that still have eye appeal. And I think this bull will do that extremely well. And like you said, Benz is another one of them bulls. We're seeing him kind of around the corner back. Those daughters are getting in production. But you see that this bull has an interesting pedigree, a shot of semi there on the bottom side with the popular bankroll. And then back out of, I believe, a hard whiskey cow, 5/8 main deal. So could certainly be intriguing. You could throw him on high cows and make some nice ones, or anything sired out of him back on just a commercial crossbred cow is registrable. So certainly a bull here with some value.
Yeah, lot 56, maternal maid son that appears to have some added look and extension about him.
Yep, certainly so. And out of a who made who based cow, so a little different twist, a bull that should have quite a bit of look in person. Be really excited to see that bull.
You bet.
Hey, Blake, this lot 57 bull, a Garsh son, backed out of a patent Irish whiskey bred cow there.
Yeah, you bet. Brought to us by the Swink ladies, and I know Carolyn, talking to her, was extremely high on this bull. I've talked to a couple of guys that have seen this bull as well, along with her, and they say he is a good-looking rascal that's built awesome. And, being out of Garth, there's some power there. So having that, and then, patent a little different twist on the bottom side. That bull has done a tremendous job in the Griswold program. This is a 5/8 main bull again. I think it's going to have a lot of breeding value. Looking forward to seeing this one in the city.
Yeah, you bet. And then we just transitioned to the lot 58. Anytime you see the OHL as a prefix, you're fixing to see quality.
That's right.
Yeah, I would agree. Synonymous with quality, and this bull's no different. Out of Icon, one of the few bulls out of that particular sire that's going to be in the sale certainly comes with those look and power pieces that Icon brings forth, and obviously coming from Wayne and Barb, that there's quite a bit of back in there behind him in the cow side.
Blake, this lot 59 out of the main legend here in recent years, maternal maid, back out of an I-80 cowboy. He looks like a big, stout, heavy rascal.
Yeah, this bull is another one of those I think is pretty intriguing. I mean, a half-blood Maine bull, and you see those genetics on the top side, then you look at his bottom, going back to the old Rockin' Ace cow that has done just such a tremendous job. I'd like to know how many dollars she's generated for Weingartner through the years, because about everything they produced has went back to her. And then even having Broker with a little shot of semi there on the bottom side certainly ought to generate some really, really nice females when it's all said and done. But again, one here that, I bet he's dual registered, being a half-blood Maine, and then having that shot of key on the bottom side. If someone's interested in that, I bet they'll sure work with you.
Absolutely. And then we get to fly right in here, Josh. This lot 60, Daddy's Money. from the Mint Cattle Company in Minnesota.
Yeah, Dave Minty and his boys. I had a chance to go through Dave's deal this early fall, and just so good in terms of what he is focused on from a cow perspective and what he wants in his females. And so it allows him to bring bulls that look like this. Cavanese geared, good looking in his image, very correct in his skeleton. Dave and them always have quality around when they're on the end of the halter, and I think this bull certainly exemplifies that.
A lot 61 here out of the good as it gets Wade Rogers sire that is sure from the calves I saw this fall cemented his place in the Maine industry.
I'll tell you what, Anthony brought this bull out there. We got to see him show, and this is one cool looking cat. I mean, this one to me is another one of those that we might see on that AI sire page one day, because with that on the side, on the top side, and then, you know, the green oak bred cow there that goes back to Countess, which again, synonymous with Great Maine genetics. It's one that to me, he's backed by an awfully good pedigree, but this bull is one that's intriguing. I'm anxious for people to see him because I could see him tied over in the sire side of the Cattle Congress too, because this one is really, really cool looking. They're selling half semen interest in him in full possession because they think this one's going to be one that's going to generate some money for somebody.
Yeah, absolutely. And Josh, we get the pleasure to bust into these maintainer pin bulls, and I'm telling you, right out of the gate, we get a set of Gronks and a Follow Me from the Talak program. I tell you what, you talk about heavy, I bet you these things here are heavy.
For sure. The I'd probably split them and talk 62 and 63 real fast. Those particular bulls are so intriguing. I mean, they're so different from each other in person, and yet big pieces out there in terms of bone and foot, out there in terms of neck and look, very big in their hip. They're both out of that key cow that won junior nationals for their family. And that cow, if you've ever seen her or remember her, man, she was big time in terms of some parts and pieces. Huge structure, very big and extended her frame. And them bulls kind of make a nice balance with Gronk. I mean, Gronk fit that cow so perfectly in terms of softening her up and just smoothing her up a touch. And yet her size and extension kind of matched him. And so that pair of bulls will be very intriguing to look at. And then 64, that Follow Me, man, he's just so good in terms of his basics. I thought that bull, when we looked at him that day, Barry and I, it was really cold, and that bull structure was so good, so flexible, so fluid, and yet kind of reaches in terms of center cavity and what he brings together there. So a nice trio of pin bulls that Talax are bringing, and obviously built around quality from the cow side.
Hey, and then we're going to end this deal with a bang. Blind Badger Ranch, Brian Fox out there in Fort Morgan brings a set of maintainer bulls led off by an Ain't Bluffin'. That semen's in short demand, and them cattle are good, backed by the dominatrix donor there, that lot 65 lead bull.
You bet. To me, this pin of bulls represents some of Blind Badger's best donors. Like you said, Corey, I mean, Ain't Bluffin' and Gronk, again, two hot bulls, not a lot of semen out there. But, I mean, these are out of their best donors. That dominatrix cow's done a tremendous job. That Divine cow on the bottom side goes back to Morgan. She's one of their up-and-coming donors that Brian and them are starting to flush. And you look at those, particularly 66 and 67, a lot of growth bred in these. Both these bulls weaned off over 775 pounds. So they're more than just looks. They're also bulls that can go out and produce pounds. And at the end of the day, we know that's how majority of cattle get sold. But there's so much more than that offered in these pedigrees.
Yeah, absolutely. I tell you what, this has been it's been utter fun for me, I know, to get to work through this Bright Lot cell catalog and get to see the quality that's coming to Oklahoma City. I can tell you, if you're within driving distance, come on down, because you're gonna walk your shoes off of you trying to decide what you like the best, and whether it's a heifer, whether it's a bull, an AI sire, a walking bull, brothers, half brothers, full brothers, you guys have brought them to town. And I tell you, it's going to be a weekend about Maine-Anjou between the the embryo sale over at the main exchange, the bright light sale. Guys, talk just real brief here. Sale preview. I guess you would call it Thursday at 2:00.
Yeah, that's usually what we do. We'll roll those bulls right through the ring, and those that are present and around the ringside can kind of get a look at them. Those bulls will get evaluated and scored, and then that kind of helps us set the tempo for what that sell order will look like. The most unique thing that I would probably say, Brett, relative to the sale, and something that Blake and I have talked about, there's a lot of bulls that'll go through this sale that'll do the everyday things that really matter in terms of just breeding cows. We talk about the AI bulls and selling semen, but man, there's going to be a lot of bulls that get to just go do the things that bulls need to do and get cows bred every day. And that's the cool thing about this sale, I think.
Yeah, I would completely agree with that right there. And I just want to encourage those guys that are interested in buying a bull. If you want to see these bulls on dirt and you want to see these bulls get out and cover some ground, don't wait till the last minute. Show up there on Thursday, watch this evaluation, this sale preview, ask these guys, get in the dirt with them and ask them about these cow families, because the breeders would love to talk to you. There's a pin bull show scheduled for Saturday the 8th at 9:00 in the morning. Then there again, the bulls will be displayed at 2:30. On sale day, January the 8th, Saturday, January the 8th, starting at 2:30, the bulls will be on display all in one location, and give you time to walk around them. Sale starts 3:00 prompt. Those of you that cannot make it, Blake, CCI.Live, is that correct?
Absolutely. CCI.Live, they will help you out there. If you need someone on the phone, Josh and I's phone both. We'll be on there. Lindsay and Riley can help out too, so there'll be a crew there. So definitely come out. Our junior show there on Thursday, and then, Friday, and then our open show there on Sunday. So come out for that too. Guys, I'm excited about this. I just thought of a new slogan sitting here: the bright lights, where investments are made and legends are sold.
There you go. I like it. Absolutely. And I can tell you right now, those of you that's on the fence about coming and you're not within driving distance, I can promise you can hop a flight to Oklahoma City cheaper than anywhere else in the country. And when you land, you're a short $3 Uber ride over there to the fairgrounds. It's a short $3 Uber ride back to a motel or somewhere good to eat. It is so inviting and so welcoming. Get your butt there and walk through this set of bulls that these guys have put together, because I promise you, next year when we sit and do a drive marketing, Corey, we're going to be talking about a certain bull that's got heavy use in the last year that was sold right here in this sale.
That's right.
You're exactly
okay.
right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you are exactly right. Hey, so here we go. Let's go wrap this thing up, guys. I can promise you. There will not be anything passed through that sale there in Oklahoma City that you hadn't already been told about or given an opportunity about moving forward. So, guys, thanks for being with us tonight. I know it seems like it's got long with 58 minutes, but I'll tell you, it's been heavy loaded all the way through. Blake, thank you. Josh, thank you. And we'll see you guys in Oklahoma City.
Thank you,
Thank you,
CDL.
guys.